No shame, like I wanted to get there. And so I had to start somewhere, and I was starting here. I'm doing something that all the years of my life before, I didn't have faith in myself to do. And I didn't do it for myself. I'm doing it for my kids, just in case you needed to borrow some motivation. Hey guys, so today I want to talk about something that has honestly changed my life. Not even being dramatic, it has changed my life night and day. Like if you told me I'd be sitting down and making this video right now 5 years ago, I would have never believed you. I would try little things here and there, like maybe a little bit of yoga, a little bit of gym time, walking on the treadmill, this and that and this and that, but I was never truly motivated and my heart was never truly in it. And then things changed. Over the past 2 years plus some months, I worked out more than I ever have in my entire life, and it has changed my life. The benefits are countless, and while I'm not an expert, and honestly that's what's held me back from making a full video about it, I've shared on Instagram a little bit here and there, but sitting down and making a whole video about it, I was a little bit intimidated because I'm not an expert, but I do have experience. I have lived this and made the change, and I feel like sharing my experience could be helpful. I have a ton of questions from y'all, so we can make this a conversation. I want to share my story and hopefully encourage you guys, because based on your questions, you guys were feeling exactly how I was feeling. So I feel like this is just a common thing we're all living, and let's talk about it. But before we start, I do have to say, these are just my experiences. What's right for me might not be right for you. We all have to make the right decisions for ourselves. So a lot of these questions were asked over and over and over again from you guys, just in different ways. And so I picked the questions that were asked the most, and hopefully I will answer your question and we'll get to the topic that you want to talk about the most. So by far, the top most asked question was about motivation. Where do you find the motivation to work out in the morning? My motivation is fully to get stronger and be as healthy as I can be so I can take the best care of my kids that I possibly can. And of course, that all started with Lucy. I think it was when she was about 10 months old when I realized this is getting harder. She wasn't, honestly, looking back, that big, but it was getting harder to carry her, lift her, move around, do physical therapy with her, do all the things that I have to do with her on a daily basis. And I knew it was going to catch up with me, but it caught up with me a lot faster than I thought. Like I was starting with like zero strength, no upper body strength whatsoever. And I just never made working out a priority. And obviously after having Lucy, I had a lot to focus on. So many more important things than working out. And all of a sudden I realized how absolutely important it was, and it had to be a priority. Like I did not have a choice about it, because all I want is to be a great mom for Lucy and to be strong and not hurt myself while I'm giving her the best care that I possibly can. So taking care of my girls is absolutely my motivation. And I'd love to be able to say like, oh yeah, I did it for myself to like take care of myself and all of that. But if that was the case, I would have done it years and years and years ago. It really did take Lucy needing me to be healthy to actually do it. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people can use as their motivation as well. We need to be strong and healthy for our kids and for our families to be there for the people in our lives, even if your situation isn't like mine, just in case you needed to borrow some motivation. Okay, the next question was asked just as many times. The hardest part about working out for me is staying consistent. Do you have any tips? Obviously, staying consistent links back to my motivation. And I always think, Lucy is growing and I need to grow too. I've got to keep up with her. But in practical terms, the things that I do to help me, set myself up for success, I pick out my workout clothes the night before and I have them set out. Like honestly, when I first got started, I would put my workout clothes on my nightstand next to my water, everything ready for me to go work out. And I would not even get out of bed, like put my feet on the floor and put my workout clothes on immediately. Because it's like, okay, I'm taking out all the decisions. I am not making a decision in the morning whether I'm gonna work out or not. Like it's decided, my clothes are out, and now I have pre-workout that I have out in the morning. Like I take away every speed bump that could get in my way between me and getting that workout started. Because once you get started, you're not gonna stop unless, something happens, you get pulled away or whatever. I like to work out in the morning, but I also work out during nap time. Like, make it as important as brushing your teeth in the morning. Like, this is just what I do. This makes me feel good, and it really will make you feel good. Okay, now I really like how this question was worded. How do you start? I'm so lazy. I absolutely relate to that. Getting started is probably the hardest part. We all know that. So for me and for my family's needs, I knew that in order for me to work out, I would have to figure out how to do it at home. I just don't have the luxury of being able to go to a gym or go to classes or whatever. Like, I'd love to do that in the future, but right now it's just not a possibility for me. My family needs me to be home and I want to be home. So I turned to YouTube because on YouTube, there are so many workouts and they're free. It's like 0 risk. You can just jump in, and I would pick shorter workouts and honestly, 12 minutes. I would go for the 12-minute workouts with a little bit of weights, a little bit of moving around, those walking workouts. I would try that, and I was loving it. Eventually really focused on those weightlifting videos, and I fell in love. Once I realized that I liked lifting weights at home and that I could lift weights at home. And for me, I am just not a cardio person. I like walking. Walking is great, but I've never been a runner, and I just don't like bouncing around. I don't feel like that's good for me. My rationalization has always been that I don't want to lose weight. I don't feel like I need to lose weight. So why am I going to do a bunch of cardio? Of course, do what you need to do. You're supposed to mix it in. But honestly, I just fell in love with lifting weights, and it made me feel really good. And I was doing YouTube workouts 5 days a week, usually, sometimes 4, but usually 5 days a week. I was really sticking with it. And I did that for a very long time. And then a few months ago, I discovered Trainwell. Trainwell was formerly called Copilot, and it's a remote personal training app. I've been using Trainwell since the end of July, and my trainer has helped me so much. I've really been enjoying it, and I'm partnered with Trainwell for this video, and I'll tell you everything and explain how it works in just a bit. So basically, my best advice for getting started to absolutely anyone is use what you've got on hand. Okay, wait. I have to throw in this question. It feels out of order, but I just have to do it right now. How to do it when severely sleep deprived all the time with a colicky newborn? Give yourself a break. I feel like sleep is always prioritized above working out. But if you're up all night with a baby, your workout isn't going to be great. You're going to be digging yourself into a bigger hole exhaustion wise, and you have to take a break. Literally take a couple months off. Do not feel guilty. Working out isn't going anywhere. You can get back to it when you and your baby are in a good, well-rested place. Please do not be sleep deprived and working out. That's just wild. Okay, this one also came up a lot. What are your must-have gym items for beginners? I want to work out with weights at home, but I'm so lost. I was lost too, and I had one single set of 10-pound dumbbells. They were in the back of some closet. I don't even remember where I got them or how I held on to them, but I had one set of 10-pound dumbbells, and some of the workouts that I was doing, especially where you have to have your arm out like that. I should know the name for those exercises, but I could not do 10 pounds, and I would pull out soup cans. If you're following me on Instagram in the early days of this workout thing, you remember I was working out with soup cans. No shame. I wanted to get there. And so I had to start somewhere. And I was starting here. I was starting in the basement. I had nothing. And over time, I've built up more things, but I didn't go out and get a whole rack of weights. I kind of had to prove it to myself that I was going to stick with it. So I started with literally what I had on hand, dumbbells and soup cans. But now, after a couple of years, I've accumulated some really random sets of dumbbells along the way. I have 20s, I have 5s, and I have 10s, so no more soup cans for me. And then I also bought a set of dumbbells that are customizable. I felt like this is going to be the key for me. I don't want to buy a huge rack of weights. At this point, I kind of do. But when I got these, I was like, this is all I need. I don't want to have like a huge thing. I will say with the customizable dumbbells, they are amazing, especially amazing for space saving, but they are bigger than a typical dumbbell. So for certain moves, you have to kind of change the way you're moving. It's a little bit clunkier, but you kind of can't beat it when you're thinking about space saving. I also have some resistance bands, I have a yoga block, and I also have a bench, but I will say the bench is relatively new. For the longest time, I was just using a chair for any moves that needed something like that. I have to say, use what you have. Do not let equipment be something that slows you down from getting started. Like, eliminate everything from stopping you getting started. Like, you don't need anything. You don't need anything. Okay, here's another interesting one. Your experiences working out with a trainer versus independently. So I have had some experience with a trainer in a gym setting years and years ago, like 7, 8 years ago. And that was nothing but positive. But like I said, like, my heart was never in it. Like, I was never truly motivated. And while it was an awesome opportunity and experience, I definitely didn't make the most of it. So I feel like I kind of can't even compare that to where I'm at now and everything I'm doing now. But obviously, working out, doing YouTube videos, you are independent, you don't have a trainer, you're following along with the trainer on the screen, but it's just you. And that worked for me really, really well for a long time. And then eventually I started to feel like I needed more guidance, more input, like more tips on my form. My back started hurting really bad through this year, and I was constantly trying to do different things to fix it, to make it work. And I was working out all the time. I was working out nonstop, and I just felt like I was doing everything I could, but I wasn't really doing myself any favors, and I needed help. So enter Trainwell. So if you haven't heard of Trainwell before, it's an app that allows you to work with a personal trainer all from your phone. So when you sign up for Trainwell, you go in and take a quiz all about you, what your experience is, what your goals are, and your expectations. After that, you're matched up with a personal trainer and you have a video call. You just get to know each other, you talk about your goals and any limitations you might have as far as injuries and the equipment that you have, what your ideal schedule is, just kind of a big getting to know you call. And it's so helpful to get to talk and feel like you're on the same page. I really enjoyed my call with my trainer, Catherine. She's so nice and super encouraging. I told her everything. I told her all about Lucy, about how I'd been working out more than I'd ever worked out before, and I was so proud of myself, but I needed more help and my back was hurting, and like, I literally just told her everything. So I feel like we were very much on the same page getting started.
I'll include things that have you reaching in different planes of motion and things that have you bending over, but in a stable way so that we are training your body for those specific movements.
Right. That sounds awesome.
So after that call, your trainer then moves on and builds you a personal plan and a step-by-step workout that is customized to your needs and your schedule. And for me and my plan, we actually decided to scale back from 5 days a week working out to just 3 days. And this is something that we talked about in our call because I just kept hearing from different sources, oddly, that working out 5 days a week, working out back to back to back to back could actually work against you. And I really wanted to try to scale it back and just do it as an experiment. And she was super open to it, very, very encouraging, and agreed with the things that I was hearing. So I'm working out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and each of those days are full body workouts. The other big problem I was having, like I mentioned, is my back pain. And I just felt like I need to give my body a rest. Like I'm not helping myself at this point. Like I'm moving myself backwards. And so that's something that we talked about. And that was definitely something that was considered when she built my plan, picking exercises that are not going to put more strain and more weight on my back, and picking mobility exercises and stretches that are also going to help me along the way. And honestly, that's something that I was messing up when I was working out on my own. I would do my warm up real quick. I would do the workout, and then I would completely skip doing any kind of cool down and stretching and stuff like that. I feel so stupid admitting that, but that was a huge source of pain for me. And working with the TrainWell app has helped me so much, like not skip those steps. And it's helped me with my pain so much. Like honestly, I was scared. Months ago, I was scared that I was gonna have to quit working out because my back hurt so bad. And I was like, I'm doing all this so that I can protect my body and take care of Lucy. And I feel like I'm doing the opposite. And I'm so happy to say I've continued to work out and I feel like I'm doing it in a safer way and I'm taking care of myself even better. Okay, back to the point. So when I open up my workout for the day, I'm immediately seeing the first exercise that I'm doing, and you see a picture of someone doing the workout with a view from the front and from the side, so you can really look at the form if it's a workout that you've never done. And you have the voice in your ear or coming from your phone from your trainer, giving you cues, giving you tips on your form, and giving you little timing tips like 10 seconds left. And it's like it's something that I was dreaming of right before I found it. Like I needed the guidance of a trainer, but the flexibility of being able to work at home and being able to do it on my own time. You know, if you had an appointment with a trainer, you couldn't be like, oh, I was up all night with the babies, I got to do it later. And I mean, I don't even want to think about how much it would cost to have a trainer come to your house. Like, I don't even know. Obviously, that's another big plus. Okay, back to the app. Another thing I really appreciate is that you can edit the exercises in real time. You just hit a button and you get a few different options that you can replace that exercise with. You can also just very easily hit a button and make a note about that set, like this really worked for me, this didn't, and all that information is passed over to your trainer and it influences how your future workouts are. They're always adapting and changing and being customized for you. Another thing that's really cool that TrainWell does is you have a streak counter. So you can look at your calendar and look at all the days that you've stuck with your schedule. The other thing that I love about the design is it keeps your goal across the top. My goal is to be able to carry my daughter forever. I feel like keeping that right there on the screen is super motivating, and it's really cool that they thought to do that. So TrainWell gave me a link. I'll have it here and in the description. This is for the first 100 people that sign up through my TrainWell link. You can get 14 days for free, and you can also get $25 off your first month. Okay, next question. How have you built muscle at home? And there are other variations on this, like, is it possible to build muscle at home? I want to get stronger, but I need to work out at home. And it is 100% possible. Obviously not a competitive bodybuilder or anything like that, but I have absolutely felt real change in my body that like I didn't even know was a thing. And lifting weights is the key. No question, period. You know, like I said, I had no interest in working out. And honestly, I think I was also a little intimidated about lifting weights in a gym, just like the whole gym thing. I feel like a lot of us are intimidated by that. So if there's one thing I have to say is like, just start with a couple of dumbbells at home and you can actually build strength and have change happen, you know, especially if you're starting from zero like I was. And I was never gauging my progress by anything but how I was feeling in my body and how it was feeling carrying Lucy and doing all the things with Lucy that I need to do. And about a few months in, I just got this like massively different feeling in my body, and I've described it as feeling like I'm solid for the first time. Sounds crazy. There are no other words to describe it, but like I felt like I was a solid being for the first time. I don't know what I was feeling before. I was just a jelly. Like I was a jello jiggler before, and now I finally was like a solid brick, and I was capable and strong in my body. And once I felt that feeling, I was like, there's no going back. I feel so good. I love that capable feeling, and lifting weights is the key. I will always see lifting weights as the best workout for me. I just love it. And not to get off on a total rant right now, but I hate that for so many decades, exercise and fitness that's marketed to women is all about losing weight, like jumping around like a little bunny and sweating, running around and just losing weight. Like that's the only important thing. And getting strong is the most important thing. And it's just so backwards, because getting stronger it fixes everything. Obviously, it doesn't fix everything, but I feel like once you focus on getting stronger above everything else, a lot of things just fall into place. Like you get more confidence in your body and you just feel better overall. Like it even does work on your mental health, and it's just awesome. Like just feeling proud of myself for sticking with it and having the discipline and moving up on my weights and not using soup cans anymore. Like it's just really cool. Okay, I got a few questions regarding food, diet, meal planning, and stuff like that. So I'll briefly touch on that. What does your regular day look like regarding diet? What do you eat and how many meals? I'm not on any kind of diet. I don't track my meals or calories or anything like that. But the thing that I do is focus on protein, and even protein I don't track, but I try to always make sure that it's at least present in what I'm eating most of the time. And I figured out that that's what makes me feel best, and it fuels my body really well. And you know, if I was trying to be like a bodybuilder or something like that, I'd be really heavily focused on it, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm just trying to be healthy and feel good, and protein is where it's at for me. As far as a typical day, I eat all different kinds of things. I mean, you guys see me in vlogs, like we eat at Dairy Queen and like we have fun foods all the time. But I guess like I don't know, I can't even say what like a typical day would be like, but I guess an example, well, every morning I do have the same smoothie. I have a protein smoothie. It has some berries, ice, but I also put a protein drink in it, like a pre-made, like Premier Protein, but then I also put in scoops of protein. So it's like protein packed, flaxseed, you know, a lot goes into the smoothie. Like it's not just like a fruit smoothie, it's like a protein smoothie. And I feel like it's a really good way to start my day. So that's the first thing that I have. As far as snacks, like throughout the day, snacks are like egg bites, eggs, cashews, apples with peanut butter. I love peanut butter, y'all know. For lunch, I do a lot of like chicken tacos or tuna. For dinner, a lot of times Grant loves a salad with chicken. I mean, don't we all? It's a good, feel good dinner. So protein everywhere, protein throughout the day, and I feel like that's what makes me feel best. But like, there are no rules, you know? Okay, I really liked this question, all caps. How do you deal with sweaty hair? This question might seem silly to some people, but I totally understand where you're coming from. And honestly, that was something that kept me from working out for so long, because I was like, I don't want to wash my hair. Like, this is too big of a time commitment. If I have to work out, then I get super sweaty and then I have to wash my hair every time. Like, I can only do this like once a week, okay? And that's because in my mind, I associated all working out with getting super, super sweaty, like hot yoga sweaty, running 5 miles sweaty, and it just doesn't have to be like that. You know, I really focus on slow and steady when I'm doing strength training, and I honestly don't get super sweaty. Yes, you can go super, super heavy and do really, really intense things and sweat a whole bunch, but honestly, that's not me on a typical day. But I will say, if you're doing a workout that's getting you super sweaty, immediately after, like as fast as you possibly can, hit your hair with a cool hair dryer, follow it up with dry shampoo, and you will be shocked at how well it works. Okay, last question. What's the most surprising way fitness has changed things for you? So this answer definitely kind of goes deep for me. Working out has given me hope more than anything. It's given me hope that I won't do irreparable damage to my body taking care of my daughter, and in turn, as a result, not be able to give her the care that she needs. You know, I am thinking about the future. I am thinking about preserving myself as well as I can so that I can be there for my family, for my daughters. And honestly, I can't predict the future. I still might be in pain, but at least I'm doing everything I can to try to set myself up for success, and I'm proud of that. And I'm doing something that all the years of my life before, I didn't have faith in myself to do, and I didn't do it for myself. I'm doing it for my kids. And for me, it's like an act of love. And there are obviously so many benefits to it, but for me, it's thinking about the future. It's just a lot more than like, wow, I can fit back into my old jeans, you know? Like, obviously that's a perk. We all love that. Like, I don't have to pretend that I don't love that part of it, but it's so much more for me. I wish I could go back and convince my younger self that it was worth prioritizing and I did have the time and I could make it happen. It was so worth it. But hopefully in sharing my story and my experience, I can at least encourage you guys to learn from my mistakes and get started if you haven't gotten started, or stick with it if you're already doing it. Okay, I think that's everything, but I want to continue the conversation in the comments. Go to the comments. I want to talk to you guys about everything, answer any questions that I didn't answer in this video, but I feel like the video got kind of long. Check out the description for the link to train well. I appreciate you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.